video. I just wanna explain a little bit why I think that this altcoin season hasn't started and why I still think that we have a lot of time for it to actually kick in. So let's begin. Right here you can see the dollar. The dollar right now is pretty strong, and it's overlaid on this chart, which by the way is from Raoul Pal on Real Vision. You can go see his videos. All these charts I'm going to show are from his latest videos, so go follow him. He's great. I follow everything he says and does. But right here, he's pretty much overlaying the dollar when in Trump's last term, 2016, 2018, and today. And as you can see, if we can expect anything, Trump is going to want a weaker dollar, and a weaker dollar is better for risk assets. So once the dollar starts weakening, risk assets could have more probabilities to start moving up just because it's easier for them. Because once the dollar is too strong, it doesn't really help anyone in the world, honestly. It's not good for risk assets. It's not good for trade in other currencies. So once the dollar starts weakening, we can expect a little bit more of price action in these altcoins to the upside. Global M2. Global M2 is very important as well because these cryptos are just a liquidity magnet. They need liquidity to start moving up. And as you can see, this is overlaid as well on the global M2 chart from 2016, 2018, again, when Trump was in office last time. So what Raoul Paul is pretty much saying here is that the liquidity cycle hasn't even started yet, pretty much. So we can expect more liquidity coming into the markets around the world, which means our bags are just gonna keep moving up. So that's why I honestly think that the altcoin season hasn't even started. And even though people thought it would have started by now, and Bitcoin's moved way higher from like 19,000 to all the way to like $109,000, I still think honestly that this cycle is nowhere near its end. It might not come as soon as we want, but as long as it's not over for now, then I'm happy. Next, we got the People's Bank of China balance sheet actually overlaid on the China 10-year bond yield. This is pretty good because what it's saying is that China any second now, it's not for sure, but most likely if they keep repeating what they've done in the past, China's going to start printing money and go into QE, and they usually print trillions of dollars. So we got a lot of room to the upside. And another important part about this chart right here is that it kind of shows, and what Raul says is that the United States isn't the only player. I mean, China's a big economy also, and once they start printing trillions of dollars, a lot of that liquidity is going to go into crypto markets, and that's good for everyone who owns crypto assets. So I think this is really good. I'm going to keep an eye on this, and you guys should as well. Next, we got the ISM. This right here is very important because if you can see, and if you could draw a line right through the middle, what Raoul Paul says is that every time it goes above 50, above this 50 line right here, that means economic expansion. As you can see, we just crossed it after like 3 years of being underneath it. And this was COVID over here. That's why there was so much volatility. But it's been like 3 years almost since we've crossed the 50 line. And you can expect it to go to like 60 above. So we have just started in this economic expansion. Yeah, and anything below it is economic contraction. So we are just coming out of economic contraction for this business cycle, which is very good for these assets because in this next chart you'll see why. This is the ISM, the last chart we showed, related to the altcoins as a percent of Bitcoin total market cap year over year. And as you can see, it doesn't track it perfectly, but the trend is almost always the same, even though obviously there's big sell-offs in the crypto market, but it usually tracks like the general direction. And once the ISM starts going up, the old altcoins and Bitcoin start going up. Once it comes down, as the economy starts contracting, it starts going down. As you can see, this has been the last 3 years, and now that it's starting to go up, we can expect the crypto market to actually follow. But obviously, there's going to be booms and busts. It's not just a straight line up. This is inflation right over here. And um in the last presidency, their office and all of them were just kind of inflationary. Inflation was going pretty hard. I think it's due to like a lot of bad, overspending in the government. But as you can see right now, it's actually coming down, and this indicator is a lagger, so it lags behind, and this one right over here has a 17-month lead on it. And as you can see, this one maybe it picked up a little bit around where the shelter year over year is, shelter sheep CPI is, but the trend is coming down now again. So we can expect maybe a little bit higher for inflation, but I think it's coming down a little bit more. Over here, you can see talking about inflation. It's all part of the cycle. It comes down, it goes up. It comes down, and then it goes up. It's all part of the cycle. Um, so yeah, so I don't think there's nothing to worry about right now. I think inflation is coming down, and especially with this. So I think if you guys are in the crypto market and watch the news, you guys have seen what Doge is doing with all the work they're doing, cutting spending and everything. And up to today, they have saved $114 billion, which is really good for inflation because the less they spend, the less they have to print, the less they have to print, the less they inflate the currency. So the more inflation comes down, and hopefully get to the point where inflation goes down enough to like 2%, so that interest rates can come down as well. So I think this is very important what they're doing respect to inflation because the more they save, just the less harsh inflation is going to be, and the easier it's going to come down. So I think this is very important, something to keep an eye on. And right now, just to show you, this page is called Trueflation. Right here, I just wanted to show you that inflation is actually coming down. This is actually the true inflation. So what inflation is truly, not what they say in the news or what they claim it is. This is the true inflation numbers for what they are. And right now, it's sitting somewhere like 2.3. So it's actually come down. It was at 2.42 on February 16th. It's actually coming down a little bit, so that's very good. Especially, I think this right here has a lot to do with Elon and Doge cutting all that spending. So I think they're doing a great job for that. Hopefully, inflation can come down. They can finally lower rates and start loading up on the balance sheet here in the U.S. because that would be bullish, bullish, bullish for crypto assets. Next, this is called the GMI Bitcoin Cycle Top Finder. This Raoul Pal says that just to see and put you in perspective, even though Bitcoin has been coming up, we haven't really exploded. We haven't been in expansion yet. You see in the past cycles where it reaches like a top up here. There's no guarantee it's gonna come all the way up here, but you can expect it to at least go, do have like an explosion to the upside, and that would be very bullish for the crypto market. Yeah, of course, there's booms and busts, boom and bust, boom and bust, and usually altcoins are very high, then they lose like 50-60%, but it's normal, it's important. There's never a straight line up. Even here, you can see small little blips, but this cycle is a little bit different because this was COVID over here, and they started printing money like crazy. So this was very different than what it is right now. This looks more like 2017. Long, steady rise to the upside. Long, steady rise to the upside. And you can see over here where it went up and it came down, went up, it came down, and then it went up, down, and then there was actually a straight line up at the final stages of the liquidity cycle. But we haven't seen that for now. Right now, we've only seen this little boom bust, and then at some point, hopefully, it'll just shoot right up. And this and everything I've showed you today, and all these charts Raoul Paul has shared with us, is the reason why I still think that this cycle is not over, and why I think that we still got some time ahead before thinking about selling. Because right now, if I think we sell, I think you would hate yourself in a couple months after you see prices just surging to the upside, and hating yourself for selling. You just got to be patient and hold on to your bags and don't lose conviction, and just keep on grinding every single day, dollar cost averaging, keeping your crypto safe. just don't sweat it, man. Don't sweat it, and keep on working, and keep an eye on all these indicators, because once this and all the other ones that I've showed you start pushing to the upside, like exponentially, then I really think that's when you should start thinking about taking profits. But for now, don't worry about your altcoins just because they're not doing anything. There's just not enough liquidity in the cycle for them to actually do anything right now. So this is pretty much them overlaying Bitcoin from the 2016 2018 cycle, on top of today. And again, 2016 to 2018 was Donald Trump. So it's very similar. It's crazy how similar it all looks. And hopefully it also plays, the same. Hopefully it just keeps on rising up and goes to some crazy number. I mean, I don't think it's gonna go to like $1 million this cycle. If it does, then I'd be super happy because that means altcoins will explode. But I'm looking more like a 200, $300,000 Bitcoin at most before selling everything. Because something I am gonna do this cycle is sell every single cryptocurrency I have. I am not gonna wait and round trip my bags again because I've done that once and I'm not gonna do it again. I learned my lesson, and you guys should too. So if you guys are looking to invest, come up with a strategy, invest, dollar cost average, whatever you do. But once all the signals that I showed you before start flashing the top, start showing like it's getting kind of toppy, there's a lot of euphoria in the market. Bitcoin's around 200, 300K. I would say that it's a good time to start, trimming off of those profits if you have any, and getting out of the market slowly, and just wait until this whole cycle starts repeating itself. Over here, this is the Fed, the People's Bank of China, the BOJ, the ECB, the BOE. I think this is Bank of England, and yeah, this is total global liquidity pretty much of these major banks. And you can see right here, we never went underneath. Um, and this is COVID. Everyone just started printing crazy. So this volatility right here is kind of like like a black swan event. Like this doesn't really happen almost. But you can see right now we're underneath this zero line. So we could keep going down, but just keeping in mind all these charts and everything I showed you in the past, I think it's more likely that we just start shooting up to go overvalued instead of be undervalued. So I'm very bullish. This is one of the main reasons why I think that this altcoin season hasn't even started, because the liquidity isn't here. There's no liquidity for these coins to actually move or do anything. So I'm really thinking Bitcoin's gonna have a huge run up at some point this year. Maybe beginning of 2026. I don't want to wait until that far out to sell because it'd be too risky, but maybe like October, November, we'll see the most craziest rallies once this starts going overvalued again. Um, so yeah, just keep in perspective. I really do think that we are nowhere near the beginning of this altcoin season. Bitcoin obviously is going up, but altcoins have done pretty much nothing. So this is just food for thought. Take it with a grain of salt, but I really do think that we have a lot ahead of us. Another chart just to put in perspective, this past cycles over here. This is the cycle we're in right now. Yeah, we just got a lot of room to grow, man. A lot of room to grow. So keep that chin up, and keep investing. And don't skip a beat. Don't get lulled out because your favorite altcoins and meme coins and everything aren't doing anything, because that's exactly what they want. They want you to get bored, sell everything, and leave, and then come back once everything's just skyrocketing up, because that's what they do. So don't lose faith. We have the best months ahead of us. And that's it, guys. So don't forget to follow, subscribe, give a like on this YouTube video, please. That help us a lot. We would really appreciate it. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter. Thanks a lot, guys. Peace out. Bye.